Hey, how y'all doing? What do you think of my new setup here? I invested a little bit of creativity to set this up to make it look more like a little blogging room here. But I wanted to share with you something that I came across online that stated that Seoul, Korea is now the most desirable city in Asia. Now, the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that, and probably yourself as well, is, oh, it must be because of K-pop. Right? Everything is K-pop in Korea these days. I personally don't follow it that much. I really don't follow it at all. But maybe you do and you think that's got to be a major push, and you know what? It probably is. I know it brings a lot of people to Korea. It's a good hook. Or it might be travel. That's one thing that I thought. I said, well, you know what? Korea is becoming more and more popular with travel, and that also is a valid reason. And in fact, let me share with you something that I found online on Facebook. It says Seoul unveils the remains of Ujungbu, the highest administrative body of the Joseon dynasty. Now, what this is right outside of Gyeongbokgung Palace. If you've ever visited Korea, that's the kind of like the central, one of the main travel attractions in Korea. It's the main palace that you can visit there. And if you have gone there, you'll probably recognize this huge street with like 6 or 8 lanes, and that's right in central Seoul. Well, right outside of it, unbeknownst to them, for for history up until this time, there was this like administrative district from the Joseon dynasty, and the remains were under the road there. And here you can see the outline of some of the remains that have been uncovered. That is a major find and something that is very interesting for the travel part of Korea. But what I'm going to be looking at, and after I read that article, it said it's the best place in Asia, and for these reasons, I said, let me just check it out myself. And what I came up with and what I'm going to share has to do more with the economic side. And there are 2 aspects of that I want to share with you. The first is, and I have a bunch of articles here that are going to kind of back up what I'm thinking. Let's look at the first one. South Korea beats the virus blues as their economy bounces back. Growth in Asia's 4th largest economy is driven by exports of chip and electronics manufacturing and a rise in investments. So, pre-pandemic, the economy was doing well. They've done a good job at kind of getting a handle on the pandemic. They've had some ups and downs, but they've done a great job in pushing their economy back into the limelight, back into its strength. And as you can see, as I scroll down here past all these ads, you'll see that facilities, investment, imports, and exports drove the economy to re-strengthen and actually get back to a place higher than prior to the pandemic. As you can see here, 2020 quarter 1 till now quarter 1 2021, they are at higher levels. Here we look at this article. South Korea's economy recovers to pre-pandemic levels. The GDP beats the forecast to grow 1.6% in quarter 1 of this year, 2021. Fantastic job, Korea. They upgrade their GDP growth for the year forecast of 4%, changing it to 4%, which would be the fastest in a decade. 3 cheers for Korea. Now, the second point that I wanted to make is one that I'm happy for Korea, but I'm not so happy about it because it kind of affects me. I do have as one of my options someday as an expat, maybe to relocate to Korea and try to set up roots there. Unfortunately, you know, the economy's going well, and the real estate market has been in an upward trend for 20 years. And as you can see here in this article, home prices in Seoul rose by 22% last year alone. The biggest increase in any major city in Asia. That is just insane. And so that's one of the things that would deter me from maybe going to Korea long term, because if I went there, I would probably want to buy a home or something like that, but the prices are showing no signs of coming down. 3 cheers for Korea again for that, but not good news for me. So why are the prices going up? Well, one of the main reasons shown here in this article, Chinese land ownership in South Korea is increasing rapidly. And here's a picture of Jeju Island. one of the crown jewels of Korea. And you can see all the red dots indicate Chinese investment there. I was having a conversation the other day with the vice principal of my school, just a casual conversation, and I just happened to say, maybe next year will be my last year. I'm not quite sure because I have an F4 visa and I need to renew it at the end of the year in 2022. And we started talking, and he said, you know what? One of the places that I would love to invest in, I would love to buy a home in Jeju Island. And there it is right there. Lots of ownership by Chinese investors in Korea. Here's another article. China's moneyed class is buying up South Korea residential real estate. So for those of you that don't know, real estate in China is at a fever pitch. There are teachers at my school who, when they came here, they bought an apartment. Now this is an underdeveloped city that is quickly becoming developed. It's the highest increase in all of China, actually, for real estate value. Since coming here maybe 2 years ago, since buying a place, their values have gone up at least 100%. It's doubled. And so a lot of people maybe are either not able to afford, or they're looking to diversify their portfolios, and they're going to Korea because it's a stable economy with a strong GDP, strong growth in their future. It looks that way at least. And so they go to Korea to invest, and that pushes prices up, and it actually helps to stabilize it so it doesn't come back down, which is not a good thing if you're the working class or someone trying to buy a home in Korea if you're a Korean. Here's another article. Chinese investors flock to Korean real estate market. Chinese real estate investors show insatiable appetite for both commercial and residential properties in hopes of enjoying handsome returns on their investments amid a growing number of Chinese visitors to the neighboring countries. So a lot of people visiting there want to buy up real estate. And here's another article. Seoul, Shanghai, Singapore have a high house buying fever. And that's a big issue in Korea these days because it's actually easier for outsiders, even like myself, to go in and buy a piece of property than it is for a local. And part of that is to kind of put some ice on real estate speculators that are Koreans. You know, they buy one and then it's just this chain reaction. They're buying more and more real estate. It pushes the prices up. It makes it very difficult for other people to be able to buy real estate. Here it says governments mull action to head off bubbles as residential prices soar. So there you go. Real estate and a strong economy, pop culture, and history, travel attractions and things like that have made Korea, Seoul, Korea in particular, although Busan is also a great place to visit, as it was my second home, one of the top destinations, if not the top destination in all of Asia now. We get discouraged by other people's comments. We compare our life's progress to the progress of others. This only keeps us from having a grateful heart and makes us envious and scheming towards those who appear to have been blessed more. And I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. You cannot be the slave of two masters. You will like one more than the other, or be more loyal to one than the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Lord, we focus on the world and care about what the world sees in us. We often forget about how our hearts and minds are supposed to be in tune with you. Forgive us, Lord, that we focus on the world's opinions of us rather than yours.